What's the old saying? Be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it. Well, over the past 3 years, you and I have been bitching and moaning for 3 pedals in this. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but now it's a reality. Okay, so we need to start today's exercise with what hasn't changed, and that would be the BMW B58 3-liter inline turbocharged 6-cylinder engine that still puts out 382 horsepower and 368 pounds of torque. Now, there were changes that were introduced by Toyota, ZF, and Magna, the people that actually build this car in Austria. I covered those in a tech review back in June after we saw the car at the premiere in Texas. Click on this link to go check out that episode where I give you a deep dive on all of the changes. That's not just the transmission. Now, once I arrived here in Utah for this exercise on this track, Miller Motorsports Park, I got some more details on some of the figures. Let's start with fuel economy. Not really surprised that the fuel economy, it's not as efficient as the automatic. It's 19, 27, 21 combined. That's about a 2 to 3 mpg hit from the automatic. Then there are the performance figures, and really the only thing that changes is the 0 to 60. The automatic was 3.9 seconds to 60. This, 4.2 seconds to 60. Not exactly the heaviest car on the planet, 3,389 pounds, or depending on express weights and measures, 1,537 kilograms. The important factoid about all those numbers, 22 pounds lighter than an automatic. Oh yeah, that definitely connects. You definitely feel the difference. Red line, very important to understand here, is 6,500. And it does, I guess when you first get in the vehicle, there is a translation that takes place. You have to understand there's a lot of torque. What do we talk about? 368 pounds of torque in this thing. You really have to work that in your brain as you go from the automatic Supra to the manual transmission Supra, because you get into that red line very, very quickly. So you got to say to yourself, okay, I need to understand where that red line comes in and make the shift. Outside of that, there's really good delivery of power here. Ooh, whoa, that was fun. That's the perfectly imperfection we get from a manual transmission on a track. Anyway, the way this thing delivers power, it's really just the transmission. It's still the same wonderful 382 horsepower we expected from BMWs and now the Supra for a couple of years. And if someone were to say, what is the more perfect car to take around the track and have some fun with, I'd say the automatic, because the personality is matched best with the automatic to the way this engine delivers torque. Okay, let's you and I put aside that torque and talk about the shifter itself. I don't know if you can see from those cameras over there, it is a very tall shifter. Like manual transmission cars in these types of vehicles, they've become more bespoke, more of like the upper end model. It's something that's more special. And as such, the car manufacturers spend some time really shaping the shifters as well as the height of the shifter. Here, I would argue they didn't do that, and that's one of the detractions from the manual. It's too tall. I'd want this thing shorter. I want this thing more, maybe not Miata-like, because this is a much more powerful vehicle to drive, so it deserves a bit of a different shifter, perhaps even a bit of a bigger shifter knob. Then there are the shifts themselves, and here, not exactly buttery smooth, but not notchy. I would argue this is a very good manual transmission, but not the best out there. Where it stands out is the match with the torque that comes out of the BMW inline 6-cylinder engine. Yes, it is indeed that time again to play your favorite game on the options game with today's contestant, something you and I willed to life by pissing and moaning a lot. A Toyota Supra fitted from the factory with a manual transmission. Now, a huge hinweis there, it is only on offer with a 6-cylinder. Now, some might continue to piss and moan about this. I, for one, wouldn't, and here's why. Usually when we get a manual transmission in today's day and age, it's either on the crappiest trim level, or like Jaguar did a couple of years ago, with the crappiest engine, not the engine you want. Here, Toyota, ZF, Magna, BMW, whoever, they said, you know what? We're gonna put this on the better engine and be the contrarian investor. So I would say arigato gozaimasu or vielen dank. Either way, automatic or manual, price is still the same, $52,500. However, that's the basic 3-liter 6-cylinder. There is something called a premium, adds things like the better stereo and the Qi wireless charger. That is $55,650. Then there's this car. This is the A91 Special Edition. Couple of things stand out here. It has things like a red strut tower brace. It changes the wheels. It's got a suede shifter knob. But most importantly, follow me on this one, the colors change. There's this See You Later gray, which is more of like a blue hue to it. Really a stunning color, but this one is a gloss finish. That one is fitted as standard to the A91. However, there is a matte finish white. That is called Burnout, and it's only on offer with the A91 Special, and it's an additional $1,645. Then I would argue a change that is almost as important as that manual transmission, the color of the interior. Again, you and I pissing and moaning for 3 years, the interiors of these things, they feel claustrophobic, not just because they're not a convertible like the Z4 and they're tight, it's because they're only on offer in black, no matter what color you get on the outside. Here in the A91 Special Edition, it is on offer in something called Hazelnut, which is like a cognac leather interior, and it is also a 2-tone steering wheel, transforms the interior of this car, and that's why I'd say it is worth the base price of the A91 Special Edition, $58,345. Then the only other item you and I would need to add is the destination and handling, not from Japan, rather von Österreich via Magna for $1,095. So adding that all together, we are at $59,440. Then there's the way the car drives. That's the bigger difference. I feel like there's more flexibility dialed into this car now. Maybe it's just me being biased. Maybe it's the fact that I've only driven it on a track, but I feel like I can drive the car with my right foot, or really steer the car with my right foot more because I'm choosing the gears, not the car choosing the gears. Is it the little fine detail changes that make it or raise the limits of the car? There's probably something going on there. You know what? Put aside all of that. Really what's going on here, it's car control. And not car control in the theoretical sense that, oh my God, you need to learn car control to really be the master of a vehicle with this much power, and yes, it is a fast car, or to get on a track like this. This hands over more car control to the driver. That's the theme here. That's the difference. That's what's going on here. You are the difference here, and not just an, oh my God, you get to switch the gears. Everything has been brought together in a way where it makes it a bit more, it's gonna sound cliche, a bit more of a sports car. Because remember, this thing, it's not exactly a heavy car in today's day and age. It's almost 3,400 pounds, which that's what lighter 911s weigh at this point. And you're talking similar output from this thing. It's not as sharp as a 911. It doesn't have the crazy chassis control options as a 911. But the fact is, everything has been brought together to cede car control to the driver, which can work both ways. It's like that double-edged sword. You can hurt yourself. In other words, if I push this thing too hard, I could go off over there. When the automatic, I think that would be harder to do. I'll admit, it's taken me a couple of these short laps here at the Utah Motorsports Park to really have fun with this thing, but more importantly, to understand it. It's not one of these cars you just get in and go and you're a hero. That's where it's a more mature car. So you and I have never been in this position before, where we have the opportunity to evaluate something that we willed into being. And here it's mostly good news. It improves the overall driving experience, not just the propulsion and shifting experience. Yeah, there's a couple of things that could be better, but let's not push our luck. And that brings us to a wish list. I've got two things, one for Toyota and one for you-know-who. This is good enough where it should make its way from Munich, if you know what I'm talking about. And then number two, this is an open letter to the lovely and gracious Lindsay L. at Toyota. She works in marketing. She has a lot to do with all of the GR vehicles. And she is one of the folks that are bringing these kind of things to life. So we like Lindsay a lot. However, Lindsay has brought this lovely color called stratospheric blue to the Supra, but it's only on offer with black. So Lindsay, please, can we have the hazelnut with a stratospheric blue? That would be wunderbar. But this is just one man's opinion, and the point of the episode where I turn this around to you guys to opine in the comments below, or via our social media, MotoManTV on word, MotoManTV on word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I do want to leave you with something a little bit behind the scenes. Most of you have heard, if you are not living under a rock, that Toyota moved from Southern California to Texas a number of years ago. And back in the day, when Toyota was based in Southern California, Lindsay was my neighbor in Redondo Beach, California. But then she picked up her husband and kids and moved to Texas. So now she has a Stetson. Until I see you in the next episode, bis später.